Have you ever noticed that getting out of bed feels a little harder than it used to? Maybe your legs feel weaker. Maybe your energy isn't quite where it was 5 or 10 years ago. Perhaps you find yourself forgetting small things more often, or feeling stiff and sluggish during the first hour of the day. Most people assume these changes are simply part of getting older. But what if that's not the whole story? What if some of the things you've accepted as normal aging are actually signals from your body trying to tell you something important? Here's the truth that surprises many adults over 60. Some of the biggest threats to your strength, memory, balance, and independence are not caused by age itself. They're caused by everyday habits that seem completely harmless. Habits you've probably repeated for years. Habits that most people never think to question. And unfortunately, habits that can quietly accelerate the aging process without you even realizing it. The good news? Your body is far more adaptable than most people have been led to believe. I've spent years helping older adults better understand what is happening inside their bodies. And one thing I've learned is that small daily choices often have a bigger impact than complicated treatments. Today, I'm going to share 7 common habits that many adults over 60 should consider stopping immediately. Not because they're dangerous overnight, but because over time, they can slowly affect your energy, mobility, circulation, sleep quality, and even your cognitive health. And make sure you stay until the end, because the #1 habit on today's list is something millions of older adults do every single morning without realizing how much it may be affecting the rest of their day. Before we begin, I have a quick favor to ask. If you're committed to staying active, independent, and healthy for as long as possible, type the number 1 in the comments below. That simple action helps this information reach more people who may need it, and it also lets me know you're taking an active role in your health journey. Now, let's talk about what really changes inside the body after 60. Before we get into the 7 habits, let me explain something that most people are never taught about aging. After the age of 60, your body doesn't suddenly stop working well. It simply begins operating under a different set of rules. The problem is that many people continue treating their bodies the same way they did at 40 or 50, and then wonder why their energy, strength, and mobility start to decline. Think of your body like a trusted vehicle that has carried you through decades of life. It can still take you where you want to go, but it now requires different maintenance. Your muscles become less responsive to protein, making it easier to lose strength if you're not intentional about nutrition and movement. Your sense of thirst becomes weaker, which means dehydration can develop long before you actually feel thirsty. Your sleep patterns begin to shift. You may spend more time in lighter stages of sleep and less time in the deep, restorative sleep that helps your brain and body recover. Circulation can also become less efficient. Blood vessels naturally lose some flexibility over time, making it more important than ever to support healthy movement and cardiovascular function. And perhaps most importantly, your body becomes less forgiving of daily habits. A missed walk, too much sitting, poor hydration, inconsistent sleep. When you're younger, your body often compensates for those choices. After 60, those same habits can gradually begin to affect your energy, balance, memory, and independence. But here's the encouraging news. Many of these changes are not permanent. In fact, research consistently shows that adults in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s can improve strength, mobility, cognitive function, and overall quality of life when they give their bodies the right signals. And that brings us to the first habit on today's list. At first glance, this habit seems completely harmless. After all, what could be wrong with a long, hot shower? For many adults over 60, it feels relaxing. It helps loosen stiff muscles. It provides comfort, especially on cold mornings. But what most people don't realize is that your skin and circulation change significantly as you age. After 60, your skin naturally produces less oil. The protective barrier that helps keep moisture inside becomes thinner and more fragile. As a result, hot water removes those protective oils much faster than it did when you were younger. And over time, that can create a chain reaction: dry skin, itching, increased sensitivity, and even a greater risk of skin irritation and infection. But the impact doesn't stop there. Let me explain what happens inside the body. When hot water hits your skin, your blood vessels expand. This process, called vasodilation, temporarily lowers blood pressure. For younger adults, the body usually adapts quickly. But after 60, those adjustments can happen more slowly. That's why some older adults feel lightheaded, dizzy, or unsteady after a hot shower. And unfortunately, the bathroom remains one of the most common places for falls among seniors. I recently spoke with a woman named Carol, age 72, who believed her persistent dry skin was simply part of aging. She was taking long hot showers every morning and evening. After switching to shorter warm showers and applying moisturizer immediately afterward, she noticed a remarkable improvement within just a few weeks. Her skin felt healthier, less irritated, and much more comfortable. So what should you do? Keep showers warm rather than hot. Try to limit them to about 5 to 8 minutes. After drying off, apply a quality moisturizer while your skin is still slightly damp. And if you often feel dizzy after showering, mention it to your healthcare provider. Sometimes a simple adjustment to your daily routine can make a bigger difference than you might expect. Now let's talk about one of the biggest misconceptions I hear from adults over 60. It usually sounds something like this. My knees hurt, so I should avoid exercise. My hips are bothering me, so I need to take it easy. Or perhaps, I'm too old to start strength training now. If you've ever thought that, you're certainly not alone. But here's what may surprise you. In many cases, avoiding strength training doesn't protect your joints. It actually makes them work harder. To understand why, we need to look at what happens inside the body as we age. After the age of 60, adults naturally begin losing muscle mass in a process called sarcopenia. Think of your muscles as the support system for your joints. When that support system becomes weaker, more stress is transferred directly to the knees, hips, ankles, and lower back. That's why weakness and joint discomfort often go hand in hand. It happens gradually. You move a little less. Your muscles become a little weaker. Daily activities become more difficult, and the cycle continues. I recently worked with a gentleman named Robert, age 78, who was convinced that exercise was making his knee pain worse. Because of that fear, he had stopped most physical activity. Over time, climbing stairs became difficult. Getting out of a chair required effort. His confidence began to fade. Instead of avoiding movement, we started with simple chair-based exercises twice a week. Nothing intense, just gentle resistance using light bands and body weight. Within a few months, something remarkable happened. His leg strength improved, his balance improved, and perhaps most surprisingly, his knees felt better than they had in years. Why? Because stronger muscles were finally helping support the joints again. So what should you do if you're dealing with joint discomfort? Start small. Focus on exercises that strengthen the thighs, glutes, core, and back. Use resistance bands, light weights, or even your own body weight. And remember, consistency matters more than intensity. Here's another important tip. After a strength training session, try to include a protein-rich meal or snack. As we age, muscles need a stronger signal to repair and rebuild. The goal isn't becoming a bodybuilder. The goal is maintaining the strength, mobility, and independence that allow you to keep doing the things you love for years to come. Have you ever found yourself holding a menu a little farther away than you used to? Or reaching for your reading glasses every time you need to read a label, a text message, or a book? If so, you're not alone. Changes in vision are incredibly common after 60. In fact, many people simply assume that worsening eyesight is an unavoidable part of aging. But here's something that often gets overlooked. While glasses can help correct vision, they don't address some of the age-related changes happening in the muscles and processing systems that support healthy eyesight. Let me explain. Your eyes are connected to tiny muscles that help adjust focus between objects that are near and far. Over time, those muscles can become less flexible, making it harder to shift focus quickly and comfortably. At the same time, the visual centers of the brain also receive less stimulation if they aren't challenged regularly. Think about it this way. Just as your muscles benefit from movement, your eyes and brain benefit from gentle visual exercise. I recently spoke with a woman named Linda, age 74, who felt frustrated because she seemed to rely on her reading glasses more every year. While glasses remained an important tool for her, she also began incorporating a few simple daily habits that helped her feel more confident with her vision. One of those habits was a focusing exercise. Several times a day, she would look at an object close to her for a few seconds, then shift her gaze to something farther away. She repeated this process for about 1 minute. Simple, gentle, easy to do. She also paid more attention to nutrition, especially foods rich in lutein and zeaxanthin, nutrients that help support eye health as we age. So, what should you do? Continue using your prescribed glasses when needed, but also challenge your eyes. Spend time outdoors. Look at distant objects. Improve lighting in your home. And remember, healthy vision isn't just about the eyes. It's also about keeping the brain actively engaged in the process of seeing the world around you. Now, let's talk about something that surprises many adults over 60. Sleep is one of the most important pillars of healthy aging, but more sleep is not always better sleep. In fact, some people spend 9, 10, or even 11 hours in bed each night and still wake up feeling tired, foggy, and unrefreshed. Have you ever experienced that yourself? If so, the problem may not be the amount of sleep you're getting. It may be the quality. Here's why this matters. While you sleep, your brain performs essential maintenance. Think of it as an overnight housekeeping crew. During deep sleep, the brain removes waste products, organizes memories, and helps restore the systems responsible for focus, mood, and cognitive function. The challenge is that deep sleep naturally becomes harder to maintain as we age. Many older adults spend more time in lighter stages of sleep and less time in the restorative stages that truly help the body recover. As a result, spending extra hours in bed doesn't always translate into better rest. Sometimes it simply means spending more time awake or drifting through fragmented sleep cycles. I recently spoke with a woman named Linda, age 76, who believed she needed at least 10 hours of sleep every night to function. Yet she still woke up exhausted most mornings. She often relied on over-the-counter sleep products and felt increasingly concerned about her memory and concentration. Instead of focusing on sleeping longer, we focused on improving sleep quality. She began maintaining a consistent bedtime and wake-up time, even on weekends. She reduced screen exposure before bed and started getting natural sunlight early in the morning. Over the following months, something interesting happened. She began sleeping fewer hours, but she felt significantly more rested. Her energy improved, her focus improved, and she felt more like herself again. So what should you do? Aim for consistency rather than simply chasing more sleep. Keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. Avoid bright screens before bedtime, and if you're regularly depending on sleep aids, have a conversation with your healthcare provider about safer, long-term strategies. Because when it comes to healthy aging, restorative sleep is far more valuable than simply spending extra hours in bed. Now let's talk about one of the most overlooked habits affecting adults over 60. Not drinking water until you feel thirsty. At first, that might sound perfectly reasonable. After all, thirst is your body's way of telling you it needs water, right? The problem is that after the age of 60, that signal becomes much less reliable. Here's what many people don't realize. As we age, the part of the brain responsible for regulating thirst becomes less sensitive. In simple terms, your body may need water long before it sends a strong thirst signal. That's why many older adults can become mildly dehydrated without even knowing it, and the effects often show up in ways that don't immediately seem related to hydration. Low energy, difficulty concentrating, headaches, constipation, dry skin, and even increased feelings of confusion or forgetfulness. Sometimes people assume these symptoms are simply signs of aging, but in reality, the body may be asking for something much simpler, more fluids. I recently spoke with a gentleman named James, age 79, who often complained about afternoon fatigue. He felt sluggish, had trouble focusing, and assumed he was simply slowing down with age. When we reviewed his daily routine, we discovered he was drinking very little water throughout the day because he rarely felt thirsty. His solution was surprisingly simple: He started carrying a water bottle with him and made it a habit to drink small amounts regularly rather than waiting for thirst. Within a few weeks, he noticed a difference. His energy improved, his concentration improved, and he felt more alert during the day. So, what should you do? Don't wait for thirst to remind you. Instead, create a hydration routine. Keep water visible. Take small sips throughout the day. Include water-rich foods such as cucumbers, berries, oranges, soups, and leafy greens. Think of hydration as daily maintenance for your brain, muscles, circulation, and overall well-being. Because one of the simplest ways to support healthy aging is also one of the easiest to overlook. And now, we've reached the habit I asked you to stay for, the one that may have the biggest impact on your energy, mobility, and overall health after 60. Sitting down immediately after waking up. At first, that probably doesn't sound like a problem. In fact, for many people, it feels completely normal. You wake up, you make a cup of coffee, you sit in your favorite chair. You check the news, scroll through your phone, or simply enjoy a quiet moment before starting the day. There's nothing wrong with enjoying a peaceful morning, but the timing matters more than most people realize. Let me explain what is happening inside your body during the first hour after you wake up. Every morning, your body activates a natural biological process designed to help you become alert, focused, and physically ready for the day ahead. Think of it as your body's built-in wake-up system. Hormones begin rising, circulation increases. Your muscles become more prepared for movement. Your brain shifts from rest mode into action mode. This period is one of the most important transitions your body experiences all day. And here's the key point. Your body expects movement. Not intense exercise, not a workout, just movement. Unfortunately, many adults spend the first 30 to 60 minutes of the day sitting almost completely still. Over time, that habit can send the wrong message to the body. Instead of supporting circulation, mobility, and energy production, the body remains in a low-activity state much longer than intended. I recently spoke with a gentleman named James, age 77, who had followed the exact same morning routine for years. Wake up, make coffee, sit in his recliner, watch television. He often complained about morning stiffness, low energy, and difficulty getting moving until late in the afternoon. Rather than making dramatic changes, we focused on one simple habit. Before sitting down, he committed to 10 minutes of gentle movement. Some days he walked outside, other days he stretched near a window. Nothing complicated, nothing exhausting, just movement. Within a few weeks, he began noticing changes. His joints felt less stiff. His energy lasted longer throughout the day. He felt more motivated to stay active, and perhaps most importantly, he felt more confident in his body's abilities. Here's the good news. You don't need special equipment. You don't need a gym membership, and you certainly don't need to be an athlete. Tomorrow morning, before you sit down, try this. Walk around your home. Stretch your arms and legs. Stand near a bright window, or take a short walk outside if possible. Even 5 to 10 minutes can make a meaningful difference. The combination of movement and morning light helps support healthy circulation, mobility, balance, mood, and sleep quality later that night. And that's why this habit earned the #1 spot on today's list. Because healthy aging isn't about doing extraordinary things. It's about giving your body the signals it was designed to receive. Day after day, week after week, year after year. And sometimes, one small change in the morning can completely change how the rest of your day unfolds. Before we finish today, let's bring everything together into a simple action plan. You don't need to change your entire life overnight. In fact, the most successful healthy aging journeys rarely begin with dramatic transformations. They begin with small decisions repeated consistently. So here's a quick review of the 7 habits we discussed today. Try eating smaller, protein-rich meals throughout the day instead of relying on just a few large meals. Choose warm showers rather than very hot ones to help protect your skin and circulation. Don't avoid strength training simply because of joint discomfort. Start gently and focus on building support for your joints through stronger muscles. Continue using your reading glasses when needed, but also challenge your eyes and brain with simple visual exercises and time outdoors. Prioritize sleep quality over simply spending more hours in bed. Stay hydrated throughout the day instead of waiting until you feel thirsty. And perhaps most importantly, give your body the gift of movement during that first hour after waking up. Now, I want you to remember something. Healthy aging is not about perfection. It's not about finding a miracle solution, and it's certainly not about trying to become the person you were at 30. It's about becoming the strongest, healthiest version of yourself today. Progress happens gradually. Sometimes you won't notice changes after 3 days. You may not notice them after 3 weeks. But if you stay consistent, those small actions begin to add up. Stronger muscles, better balance, clearer thinking, more energy, greater independence. And that's what truly matters. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. What is the first habit you're going to change after watching this video? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe and join us for more conversations about health over 60. Until next time, take care of yourself and keep moving forward.